What's going on, folks? Welcome to tonight's episode of the Run and Gun Podcast. I'm JPeeps,
Peace.
and tonight we have a special guest with us. So, everyone, please welcome to the show, FAMU linebacker Nayron Jenkins. What's going on, Nayron?
What's up, everybody? Thank you for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. We're looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow in the Orange and Green game. So, again, thank you for taking the time on a Friday night before a game to talk with us. Of course, So I'm definitely looking forward to tonight. I got my questions lined up and everything. We got a couple of other topics lined up for everybody tonight. We're going to talk about the draft. We'll talk about a couple of these HBCU draft diamonds, of course, as well. We got a couple of hot topics and everything, and other things as well too that Ace has, of course, with regard to the Saints, as he has every week. But
I'm not gonna go too much into it today. Don't worry. We focusing on FAMU spring ball first. NFL we got a couple weeks before the draft for all that to clear out, so I ain't worried too much about it.
I hear you. So Ace, before we get started, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm good. Make sure y'all be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. We are starting back up something old from the last Give podcast now onto this Run and Gun podcast where we are bringing in the timer. So we'll see how that goes.
Yes. So the segment
we're running NBA quarters. So we have first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter of 12 minutes.
Yes. So like the segment with Nayron, we won't have the timer on, of course, but like when we get to you and the NFL and hot topics, we'll definitely, we'll roll out with the timer and stuff. It'll be 12 minutes and we'll go from there because like I know everybody's tired of watching hour and 30-minute long podcasts. So with that being said, Nayron, before we run the intro, you got anything to
add? No, I'm excited to dive into it.
Let's do it. Here we go. Get comfortable, get cozy. Let's run it. Wait, not that one. Golly, Ace, where is the new one at?
Hey, this is JP.
This is Ace.
This is Dalton.
And you are listening to
the Run and Gun Podcast.
All right.
There's a new audio version coming out next week.
Yeah, we'll get that up. So first things first, Nara, I know we talked about it like before we started earlier tonight, but tell the folks about your trip out to San Diego real quick.
So I was blessed with the opportunity to go to the ASU GSV Summit. We were sponsored by the USTA, the United States Tennis Association. They actually wanted student athletes and HBCU student athletes, especially, to get the opportunity to go to a tech conference and be able to network with a lot of different people, a lot of different CEOs. So it's FAMU and Edward Waters College, actually. And so we were the ones representing the state of Florida, and we went up there and we had a great time. I just got back last night, so a little jet lag still. I definitely had a great time and definitely got to meet some great people, connect, people like Colin Kaepernick and different people like that are great in their positions and also great to network with. So yeah, it was a great experience. I definitely enjoyed myself.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's big, man.
So,
That is
what was the UTSA? Is what you said? It was kind of breaking
Yeah,
up, so I didn't catch it.
yeah. USTA is the United States Tennis Association.
Tennis? Oh, you in the tennis association?
Actually, I'm not, but they want to kind of broaden their horizon a little bit
Oh,
from just tennis. So they at first everybody thought I played tennis. I was like, oh no 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 no. I was like,
no, I was just making sure because I was like, I don't think I've heard that. I didn't even know that was a
got a
thing, so I was
tennis
just kind
class
of
for the
curious
summer.
about it.
Yeah.
nice. All right, so I'll leave with the first question here. All right, so my first question is just as put, how does this defense return to its top 10 form in 2025 like it was in 2023? Because, I mean, last year, of course, y'all finished 50th in the FCS in total defense. So, how do y'all get back to that top 10 form?
Well, I think we are way ahead of where we were last year, and I think that last year really wasn't, our fault, and it was sent because of we got guys in July trying to play a game in the end of August, so
Mm,
we weren't really together. We were just kind of meeting each other. Like I'm still getting to know this guy, and I'm supposed to play, supposed to trust, things like that. So I think that the biggest thing is now that we have everybody, now we're ahead of the ball game. Now we got to get the little things right. We got to make sure that we're on the same page. And I think the biggest thing is trust. Last year it was a lot of plays that were left out of there because we weren't trusting the person that was playing next to us, and we weren't playing very gap sound. I play linebacker, so run stopping is the key, and we know that it's unacceptable. Rushing yards that we gave up last year, and so the biggest thing that we've been focusing on this offseason is stopping the run, make somebody earn the right to pass. But they will not run the ball down our throat like they did last year. So that's the biggest thing is coming together and figuring out ways to be able to stop the run, being able to watch film together, to know and be on the same page about certain things. And so I think that's been the key for us for sure, is to being able to stop the run and allowing our pass rushers to eat once we stop the run, get our pass rushers and allow us to get back to the like great numbers that we had at sacks a couple years ago.
right, right. Ace?
All right. Yeah. So we all know Coach Colsey first year last year. So this year, like, how have you seen the growth of his culture and his brand in the locker room and on the field in terms of like both practice and like game planning and like film sessions and all that? Like, how has the culture improved from the first year to this year in terms of growth?
Well, I think again, like last season was we were behind so much because of
Yeah, I know.
Coach Cozy got the job in like late January, so we really didn't have a chance to get players out of the portal, things like that. And so I think we were more of a makeshift team, if you will, last minute. But we had great talent. But like I said, it was the trust and different things that weren't there, and so the coaches were trying to do their best to kind of simplify it so that everybody would understand and everybody could catch on quickly. But like I said, Coach Cozy is a great coach, and he's definitely been great in many different things to get us to be more disciplined, to get us to trust each other. We've also been having little team bonding things, little things to kind of get us together, and also being more active in the community. We've definitely been doing a lot of community service, and so a lot of our players today actually went to a field day at an elementary school. Can't remember the name, but we're definitely growing. Not even just football players, but being able to give back and be able to be in the community as well.
Nice, nice. Shako says he will be in Tallahassee tomorrow for the spring game. Nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
y'all
Look
make
forward
sure.
to it.
Yeah, y'all get out to brag and support these guys, man. Definitely. You're gonna get your first look at the 2025 team. You're gonna see, what they're about. I expect better from these guys this season. I think we all do, and we know they will deliver a much better product than what they showed in 2024. So hey, get out to brag. Unfortunately, I can't make it. I want to, but there's always next year. And then of course, as I told Nairon before we started, I'll be in Miami and I'll be at every home game. All right. So my next question is, so y'all do have a new DC in town, Kenwick Thompson. So just that, what can we expect, from this defense tomorrow in the spring game under his leadership now?
I think that attention to details is definitely the kind of biggest thing. With him being having history and coaching at different levels, NFL, colleges, FBS, FCS, he's definitely knows a lot of technique and knows a lot of different schemes and things like that. So I think that definitely attention to details is one of the main thing he harps on. And I think that that's a great thing for us because if you look back to the games that we lost last year, it was the small details, it was small plays. It was one or two plays that kind of drastically affected the game. And so I think that that's one thing that coach came in hot with. Hey, we got to make sure we pay attention to the details and allow ourselves to be able to make plays, because if we pay attention to the details, the game will be coming a lot easier. So I think that definitely you'll see a lot of attention to detail. You see a lot of communication and things of that sort. But he came in fiery and ready to go, and so we really appreciate that, and we look forward to the season.
Nice.
I'm gonna add. I'm gonna like kind of piggy off what you're saying there. So like talking about the attention to details, and we know FAMU was like your defense. The defense wasn't like creating a lot of turnovers and playmaking off that end. So, like, how do you anticipate the attention to details to transition on the field as well to create plays on the defensive side to help the offense?
I think that last year we were in great places. We were in the right places. The coaches put us in the right place to make the plays. But again, it goes back to the trust. It goes back to the things, the footwork, things like of that sort, that really dictated our season, our product that we put on the field on Saturdays. And so I think that the attention to detail will be, okay, attention to detail in the film room, attention to detail in a play call. If you're outside leverage, stay outside leverage. Keep your leverage. Different things like that. You actually keep your right arm and left. Right arm free. So that you can be able to stay in your gap. Things of that sort that we definitely have to be able to pay attention to. And I think further to the end of the season, we started getting a lot of turnovers. At the beginning of the season, you were absolutely right. We definitely couldn't get a turnover. And Coach Pat last year, he preached a lot to get 3 turnovers a day, and you'll be able to you have a higher chance of winning. But so that's definitely something we have to improve on, is getting more turnovers to be able to give our offense the ball and give them a chance to score.
Nice. All right, I'm gonna do a quick follow up on that one, Jordan. So or JPeeps, so I know you were talking about like the beginning of the season stuff. Do you think there's any luck? I'm just curious on this one. This one was kind of like a fun question, but do you think there's some like kind of luck going into that? Like you just feel like it's kind of like a luck thing early on, instead of not like because you're saying the coaches put you guys in the right position, right? So sometimes you think, I know turnovers sometimes have luck involved in them. Do you think sometimes you just need a little bit of it?
Well, I think too, when it came to those close games, it was more will. We were just playing really hard. And I think that was definitely what helped us. In some points was we just played so hard that ultimately we played harder than our opponent. But sometimes playing hard didn't get us as far as we wanted to go because we weren't paying attention to details as we should have. And so I think that was definitely, I don't think it was any luck involved, but I do think that, playing hard, sometimes get you what you want, but also paying attention to the details and doing things the right way also gets you the dub, and in a larger fashion.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My next question is like involving like that linebacker room, that rotation of linebackers that really hopefully one of them I was hoping to see last year. I think we will see him this year, and we'll see in the addition of another one. So what does it mean for that defense to get Brian Norris Jr. back, the USF transfer, and then also to have now Justice Cross also added to that room as well?
I love our linebacker room. I think that we are very, very deep. You mentioned guys like Brian Norris and Justice Cross, but then we also have guys like Malcolm Major, who is having an exceptional spring. We have Travis Moss. We have younger freshmen. And so I think that's a very competitive room. And I think that we're just going to keep building. I think it's going to make fall camp even better because we know Like, hey, you can't have a bad day because somebody gonna come for your spot. You know, and my spot's open. You know, everybody who's on that team spot open. I think that's the great thing about it is that we're being very competitive, and I love that our coaches are making it competitive, letting everybody know that, hey, your spot is up for grabs. Nobody's comfortable, and I love that. You know, we got friendly competition, but we also want to see each other thrive. So you'll see one of us probably tomorrow, one of the linebackers make play. We all going to jump up and down. We all going to be excited because I feel like it's no love lost. It's nothing like that. We're all excited for each other. We're all happy for each other. And I think that, you know, adding Brian Norris and Justice Cross, you know, bringing their speed, athleticism, and, you know, intellect will definitely do nothing but add. It definitely won't be a detriment. We love to add those guys. We just can't wait to see all of the linebackers fly around. I hope that we have just the craziest rotation. You don't know which one of us you're gonna get each day.
Nice. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward and hoping to see and hear that. Hopefully, it's streamed tomorrow so I can watch it. But you know, even still, I mean, if it's not, hopefully I can hear. You know, linebackers had a crazy day. You know, they flew around, the entire defense flying around and stuff. You know, my next question is, you know, who are some players to watch? You know, offensively and also defensively tomorrow for the spring game.
I think offensively, you know, a couple players to watch would be Jalen Rogers,
Okay.
receiver. We call him Speedy, and he's definitely been speedy all spring. He's definitely been creating, you know, havoc for us. So Jalen Rogers, you know the regular names that you always think of, you know, Thad Franklin, you know, Kobe Gross, but I definitely think that Jalen Rogers will definitely be a name to look out for. And then also Kanari Wilcher. He's also a receiver transferred from Illinois. Those are definitely some names to look out for offensively. And then defensively, I think a name to look out for would be Dalen Diston and Jordan Cumberbatch, safety. You know, he's been kind of plagued with a couple injuries since he's been here, but he's definitely healthy and definitely looks great moving around. But those are just a couple names, but I could go on and on about each player. It's been such a good spring for us. So I think those are just a couple names, but we definitely have a lot of guys that I'm excited to, you know, finally play a real game with and excited to get after it with tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking, man. Jeez, I wish I was going to be in Tallahassee tomorrow. Man. Go ahead, Ace.
All right. I don't know if y'all can hear me right now because my audio cut out there. So my next question would be: have you guys ever had like discussion? You know, back in your freshman year, the defense was so good they had the term the dark cloud defense. Like, if y'all are gonna, has there been conversations of trying to make that a standpoint on competing to yourselves, pushing yourselves to get back to that level of becoming back the dark cloud defense? I'm just curious on that one.
So yes, actually we so when we got our new defensive coordinator, Ken Wick Thompson, he actually came in with the motto BST. So BST goes back all the way to Coach Jake Gaither, was a great legendary FAMU coach. And so BST is blood, sweat, and tears. And so that's been our motto on defense. And, you know, we break it down on BST every day because we know that this game that we love, you know, in order for you to be the greatest that you can be, you got to put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into it. And so I think that that's definitely been our key is in order for us to be at the top of our game, you got to get this game your all. You know, and so I think that that's been the key for us is BST. BST, everything is BST. To the best product on the field and be able to, you know, get back to the being the top of the defensive statistic category, as well as, you know, being able to contribute and being able to get on the Celebration Bowl road.
Yes, I agree. Let's see. I got one more.
All right,
Wait,
I got one more too. So you go first.
Ace, I'm gonna let you go first. I think
Now mine is a kind of like a unserious question. It's more of a curious. It's like I was just gonna ask him if you're gonna let me have it. I'm gonna say, who do you think is the best trash talker on the defense? I just want to know this one.
Best trash talker
in a respectful way, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The one who pushes everybody.
I I definitely would say Jordan Cumberbatch. Jordan Cumberbatch is hilarious. Like he's a hilarious guy, and so like he's funny, but also like he's gonna call you out about everything. Like something that you would think is small, but he's being serious, and so you can't help but like, you know what, you're right. You know, and so I think that that's definitely the best trash talk on offense. He gets in all of their heads. Like he's just talking, he's just saying all kind of things, and they just really hate that. So I definitely think that Jordan is definitely the biggest trash talker, and you know it's gonna help us come fall time. We just got to make sure that we don't get a penalty because of it, but it's definitely gonna help us out.
I feel you.
All right, two from the comment section. Kev from Tally says he's pulling up to the game tomorrow, and Meredith is asking a question for you. Who won the home run derby?
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm curious to hear this too.
I actually wasn't there because I was in San Diego, but you know I heard they cheated, but the softball team won. they
Hold
said
on,
it was
Wait a minute. How did they cheat?
I don't know. I think they was out there throwing fast pitch to my guys.
Oh goodness. Wait. Oh, fast pitch, that's supposed to be easy to hit. Well, you know what?
They were tossing it to the softball team. But then, it honestly, they said it was a really good time, and you know that it was very competitive. But ultimately, softball came on top. You know, but they definitely said it was a fun time, and I watched, you know, the little kind of video clip that they made, and it looked like everybody was having fun, and so that's all that it was for. It was, you know, to have fun, compete a little bit, but it ultimately was just fun, and so. I definitely was talking trash to the softball. They was talking trash to me because I was talking trash before the home run derby. But ultimately, we came up short.
It's all good, man. You know, hey, who knows? Y'all get a rematch, you know, in the off season, and y'all take on the dub. But yeah, Meredith also says, you know, looking forward to tomorrow. Yeah, man. Hey, for all 50 of y'all, wherever y'all are watching from, all 47 of you watching on Twitter, 2 of y'all on, you know, YouTube, and the one person watching
Shout
on
out
Twitch.
the one on Twitch. You know
Yeah,
what? I
for
forgot.
real.
I'm gonna post the link on Twitch. I don't have a Twitch app, so I have to just go to. I forgot the website I have to go to for it.
But yeah, hey man, y'all all 50, y'all go show up to Bragg tomorrow, man. Support these guys, man. Well, all 52 of you now that have recently joined. So yeah, you know, let's go ahead and get into it with the HBCU aspect now. Let me go and get the timer running tonight, guys. We're also doing 12 minutes per each segment, so you know we'll be mindful of that because again, I know none of you guys want to watch our 30-minute podcast, and we also want to be respectful of Neyron's time as well too because he's got to play a game tomorrow. So let's go ahead and start off. You know, so first question is as follows. You know, is this the year? Because well, I mean, we will see someone get drafted, but I mean, is this the year? I guess I should rebuttal this and say, is this year we'll see multiple HBCU players get drafted, like say 5?
I definitely think that it should be. You know, we have some great talent in, you know, the SWAC and the MEAC. You know, guys are really putting up really good numbers. And I think, you know, guys that I play with, you know, like Kendall Bowler, you know, Jamari Gassett, Daniel Richardson, Jeremiah Pruitt, you know, those guys, you know, I'm always going to advocate for those guys, you know, because those are my guys. But also, you know, you got to look at offensive lineman from Alabama and them, Carson Vincent, I think his name is. He's a very good man to, you know, to see in there, as well as Irv Mulligan from Jackson State.
Yeah.
He was definitely a great running back. And so, you know, I really hope and pray for those guys that they get their shot to show what SWAC and the MEAC have to offer. And so I think that this definitely should be the year, but I'm not really sure. You know, we always have the hardest road. We'll say it that way. And so I think, you know, even as an undrafted free agent or, you know, or a mini camp invite, you know, those guys will go out there and prayerfully do what they we know that they can. And so I think that that's hopefully this is the year that multiple, you know, even 1 or 2. I think like on the HBCU player was drafted 2022, I think, right?
Yeah.
Josh Williams.
Yeah, Josh Williams was drafted as well.
I think he was the last one. Or Darius Davis. Wasn't he 7th round? By the Chargers.
I'm trying to see now.
I believe he's from Jackson State. I'm not entirely sure about that.
Selected.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Let's see. Okay, so it was Joshua Williams, Jacoby Durant, James Houston, and Jatiri Carter from Southern were the 4 players taken in the 2022 NFL draft. And then in 2023,
I don't think anybody last year was it. The 24 didn't have nobody.
Yeah, I was gonna say 24. I don't believe anyone got drafted.
I know Marquise Bell got signed as undrafted. Isaiah Land was undrafted as well.
Didn't Isaiah Bolden get
Land
drafted
cracked
by the
the
Patriots?
Colts rotation. I know that.
Say again, Nayron?
I think Isaiah Bolden from Jackson got drafted by the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. The corner.
Yeah, I think that was the year. I think him and Marquise both came out that same draft class. I think it was 2021.
And then Terrell Jennings is, I think, RB2 right now in New England.
Yeah, honestly, that guy he should start. He needs to start, and that's not me downplaying, the Patriots, because the Patriots are not a good team, but I honestly felt he should have been RB1 week 1, because it's like, you got to find a bright spot.
Ramondre is not a bad running back. Ramondre just has trouble holding on to the ball. Ramondre Stevenson, I mean.
Okay,
now, this year is going to be weird because this running back class is so stacked. Like I haven't seen a running back class this stacked since 2017.
So yeah, Nero. So let me ask you this. So as far as like going back and looking at the 2024 season, I mean, of course, Irv Mulligan stands out as a running back that was a bell cow that y'all saw. But who was another running back that stood out to you from a game prep standpoint last season?
I think the first one to come to mind is actually the freshman running back from Bethune-Cookman, number 34. I'm not really sure his name.
Yeah, I remember who you're talking about.
Yeah, but we actually we were game planning for him, and coach would tell us like, "Hey, this kid runs hard." You know how you see somebody on film running hard, but you're like, okay. I'm still gonna bring him down, but like when we actually at the time, like, oh yeah, this kid runs hard, and so I think that's definitely a name to be on the lookout for, a rising star, if you will. I think that he's definitely looking to have a pretty good season.
Was it Dennis
so I think that was definitely,
was it Dennis Palmer?
Yes. Wait, no, number 34. Is that his last name, Palmer?
Mm-hmm. He's a
okay,
freshman.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think that was definitely a running back that stood out. And then also Southern's running back, number 6. He was a good running back. I think he entered the portal, but he was definitely a good running back as well.
I will say one thing about last season was that Florida Classic at the end, man. Y'all, that was the type of that vibe in that game. I hadn't felt that in a while, because obviously, most of us, we sat through and watched 9 years of misery, and then the last 4 years have been fantastic. But last year, y'all in Bethune, y'all put on a firework display. Personally speaking, I mean, I felt y'all should have won 41-10. But I mean, if you want to know my thoughts, it's posted on a video from the following Wednesday. I gave my thoughts back then. But yeah, I mean, I felt like y'all should have won that game 41-10. But it was firework display from start to finish, and literally had me on the edge of my seat. Had a lot of people on the edge of their seats and stuff. But it was great to see y'all come away with a win in that one.
Oh yeah, rivalry game. It was definitely intense. I really enjoyed that game. We wish we could have won by a lot more, but a rivalry game. All the people in the stands. I really enjoyed that game. That was a nail biter for sure, though.
Yeah. My thing is, this year, FAMU's not gonna win by 3 this year.
Oh yeah,
in this thing by halftime. That way I can just sit up there in the stands with a nice adult beverage and just relax and just
Right.
relax.
come and collect. But let's see what else we got. So a couple other things too. I mean, we were going to talk more about FAMU spring game tomorrow. So a couple of players that I was considering watching too is Tyler Jefferson, who's the Central Michigan quarterback. So how is, in your opinion, how has he been performing in practice and stuff recently?
He's been doing great. I actually grew up with Tyler. Tyler, we actually played on the same Pop Warner team, and like we've been knowing each other pretty much our whole lives. So, but he's been looking great. He's definitely starting to get comfortable in the playbook and calls. And so I think that I'm definitely excited to see him. Also get back to playing alongside him on the same team. And so I'm definitely excited for this season, and I really am just honored, to play with these type of guys. And, it's really cool, kind of a flashback moment, if you will, for me and him to be on the same team. Last time we played together, we actually won a Pop Warner state championship. So, hopefully we go right. Foreshadowing.
Hey, might be speaking something into existence here. Okay.
You made a call to him when he was in the portal, say, you want to come team up again, or he just came on his own?
Well, actually, I called him. I was like, "Hey, you want to come to Tallahassee?" And he was like,
"I was just joking."
I will say this too. If there is ever anybody that is a exceptional team player, it is you. You're always someone picking up the guys and stuff. When Coach Colsey's always like posting those like the little like photos of who stood out the most in fourth quarter drills and stuff and everything day to day. You are the ultimate team guy, So
I appreciate it.
Of course, man. Like that to me, that's captain status. That's especially if you're a team guy, off the field, on the field, and then you're hyping up your guys and stuff. Especially you're the first one there, and then the last one to leave. That speaks volumes to me and stuff. You can always respect a man when you see him doing that and stuff in the locker room, and then also delivering it as well on the field. So kudos to you, man. I've seen that, basically from last season all the way even to now. And the thing that as some of you all watch, Nayron was a walk on. In this day and age, a lot of kids, they hit the portal, they leave, they go elsewhere, but hey, Nayron's stuck true to the process. Still here, stuck it out. And that's a rare find in a lot of kids nowadays. So kudos to you, man. Respect.
Especially in this day and age of the portal, loyalty. Gotta shout out those guys, man.
Yes, exactly.
I appreciate y'all.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Ace, you got anything before we because we got a minute 45 left before we slide on over to the NFL?
What's something you most look forward to for this season before we head on out? Like, what's a message you got for FAMU Rottweiler Nation before we go on? Talk for
I think the message I have for them is go ahead and book your tickets to Atlanta. I think that's the message, that we're coming in with confidence, and I believe that this team is able to do all the things that we're setting out to do. We just got to stay the course, stay focused, take it one game at a time, one play at a time, and play our heart out and be able to pay attention to the details and go ahead and, get to our goals. And so I think that, I know that's a bold statement to make, but I love this team and I'm confident in it. And I think that we're all confident in our ability and confident in the way we play together. And so I'm really excited for that. And I'm really excited to, to play each and every game, each and every play with these guys.
Well said. Hey, we love bold statements here. We love bold statements.
Hey, keep striking.
Nice. Yeah, hey, we love bold statements, man. Because look, hey, we will come back to this and we'll find it and we'll be like, see, we told you so. We told you so. We told you back in April. With that, we can go ahead and slide on over to the NFL. So, right out the gate, I'll ask it, who's your favorite NFL team?
I've been rocking with the Carolina Panthers since Cam Newton. we're not looking hot right now, but
Hey, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all the second best team in the NFC South, in my
yes.
honest opinion.
I
Second
agree.
best team in the South right now.
I agree.
So we're trying to get
Bryce.
Bryce Young.
Hey, he beat the Saints. He got Dennis on fire, so he got a fan in me for life. Don't worry.
Right.
I'm a Bryce Young fan for life for that because he got Dennis on fire. But since that game, man, I feel like something just clicked in him in the NFL, and he's been going crazy since. So I'm kind of high on Carolina for upcoming season,
I am. And it
especially
always
with how they
seems like
handle this draft. That's as
it
much
always
nice stuff I can say about Carolina. The rest of it's just whatever.
it always seems like we always have like some type of NFC South roundtable. I mean, I get it. Yeah, we're in the South, but like it always seems like we have some type of NFC South roundtable on here, regardless of who
That's
we
true.
bring. Because I mean, look, we've had Allison on here. She's a Saints fan. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
Bucks fan, as you can see. I got Warren Sapp and John Lynch up there on the wall back there.
We had a Falcon fan, I think, too, once, right?
I think so. We
I
probably
don't
did.
remember who it was, but I know we had somebody who was a Falcons fan too.
Probably.
Kaylon Chavis said, "Go Panthers."
Keep pounding.
I will say,
He
I
an
think
OG. I remember him from since we started with this. He's been OG on the channel comments.
I rooted for
Oh
Carolina.
wow! Shout out 72 of y'all watching right now.
Yeah, for real. Hey, hey, like this video, keep it growing, keep it going, keep it growing and stuff, man. Let's do it. But yeah, I mean, every time Carolina made the Super Bowl, dude, I was rooting for them every time, and they let me down both times.
That is true. They had one job and they couldn't get the business done.
Yeah, the Broncos. I think it was just their year that year. They stumped us.
Oh yeah.
Well, that Super Bowl was give Manning his ride off into the sunset.
Oh yes.
I was kind of surprised they didn't do that with Brady. I mean, unless they intended for him to retire after COVID, and he just didn't take it.
Yeah.
I think it was like he didn't know when to get out. But yeah. So as y'all know, the NFL draft is 13 days away. And speaking of the NFC South, the Falcons are not expected to bring back Justin Simmons, who's going to more than likely, test for agency. He'll be out there looking for a new home.
What pick is the Falcons?
That's a good question. Let's
because
see.
If I think they're like 14, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not entirely sure. I think they're like 13 or 14.
So the Falcons currently hold the 15th.
That could be Nick Imanwari range.
Ooh, I got one here for you, Nayron. What should the Carolina Panthers do at number 8?
I'm really curious to see what they're gonna do. If I'm the GM, I think that I'm gonna go for a little more firepower offensively.
T-Mac or Tyler Warren or Marcus Golden. If you had to pick between the three.
I might go Tyler Warren. I think I might go Tyler Warren because he had some exceptional numbers this year. And is a very, he's not just like a blocking tight end. He's a big play tight end. He's a really big play threat. So I think I would go Tyler Warren or get a speedster at receiver. Like, what's the guy from, I really like the guy from
Golden,
Colorado.
Oh, Travis Hunter or Jimmy Horn.
Jimmy Horn, yeah. I actually played against him in high school.
USF legend.
Yeah, I played against him in high school at Sanford, and he was really fast.
Wow. Oh. Such a small.
That's good. I can see that one. I like that one. Jimmy Horn's nice. He's nice for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Knowing the Saints' luck, I have a feeling somebody Pittsburgh is going to be trading up and taking Shadur in front of the Saints. That's generally how it goes, and he will proceed to have an All-Pro career.
Oh my gosh! Honestly,
that's generally how it goes. That's how it goes. I'm gonna be real. That's just how it ends up.
It's funny you say that because
Carolina's going to screw them. They're going to try to not let the Saints get a quarterback.
Don't say it.
That's
because I was looking forward to hearing your thing tonight that you had with Shadur and the Saints.
Yeah. I feel like, now, if he's there, they should 100% take him. I will say it was kind of interesting to see Kellen Moore not be at the pro day for him if they were going to take him, unless he saw enough during the combine interview to say, I'm taking him no matter what happens. I've seen enough on tape. And to be fair, I've seen enough on tape since 2022. I would have taken him since. I've been pounding Shadur to the Saints since I saw him Jackson State in the Orange Blossom Classic against FAMU.
I was on
I've
the
been.
other side.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay.
I saw that
Hey.
man dice it, and I'm like,
Nayron, it's okay. I was sitting up there too. I walked out of that stadium a few shades darker that day and super dehydrated.
Yeah, he looked like a Heisman candidate that day.
Yeah, he did. Oh my gosh. Dude, that man had me. I was sitting there just like going through my phone and stuff because I was like, I gotta do something else. And I look up on the video board and I'm like, no, this man is not doing an interview in the middle of the third quarter.
And what upset me
I
is the
mean, the
chains. He
score.
went and put on the chains.
Right? I'm like, no, he didn't. I was like, are you serious right now? I'm just like, what? You know what? Hey, it's good that we can laugh about it. You know, what, 3 years later now? Because the
Yeah.
one thing I look back and say is, you know, when you look at like Dylan Gabriel, Travis Hunter, you know, Cam Ward, you know, speaking of, like, yeah, FAMU's played what? I think what 4 out of the 5 Heisman Trophy finalists from this past season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that actually, you know, it leads me to ask, like, you know, what was it like playing Cam Ward?
Frustrating.
I think that's right. You played both the top 2 quarterbacks in this class.
Right. You know, we tried to get some pressure on him. You know, we tried to do things to kind of get him rattled and kind of move him. And we knew that nobody had been able to do it yet. So we were trying to throw different things at him, throw a lot of different coverages at him. And we weren't successful. Like we couldn't get him rattled. And I think the first time I actually saw him rattled was that game that they lost towards the end of the season. That was the first team I've ever seen him get rattled. And so, you know, that was the thing. He was just a great quarterback. His poise was there, like everything. And he was a really cool guy. Like he was a cool guy. He was talking to us like during the game, but like you just couldn't get him rattled. You would talk trash, you do things. And so I think that was, you know, that was the key to him. And, you know, I tell everybody that he was my Heisman. I'm not going to lie. Like I had put him above everybody. You know, I understood what Travis Hunter did was, you know, great, you know, playing 2 positions, but Cam Ward's numbers were insane. And I think the only reason that they, you know, didn't have a successful year as they hoped was because their defense didn't really produce as much as they would have liked them to. But I think that playing against him, he was obviously the best quarterback we played all season for sure.
You know, I can get behind that. I can get behind because I had went on the Hurricanes podcast too, and I was telling you, I was like, you guys, this is the best set of like receivers anybody that we'll see all season. Everything such that this is the best quarterback, and I told him, I was like, look, if something were to happen and we had to make a push for the FCS playoffs or anything, you know, this is a good loss. Or even still, like, you know, I was telling the Canes fans back then, I was like, look, you know, for the sake of you guys making the playoff at the time, you know, because they were rolling and y'all were still like FCS top 25. I told them, I was like, for Miami to make the playoffs, you want FAMU to keep winning and to just stay on a roll and keep doing what they're doing. Because then that looks impressive to the committee for them. And then,
Right.
you know, it fell apart for them. And then, you know, what happened on our end. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, bounce back in 2025, and that's all you can do about it. Now, as far as that,
I was gonna ask him since you've like I mentioned, you play both Shadur and Cam Ward. You know, people always talking about Shadur's arm strength. Do you think, well, as someone who played against him, do you think that's going to be a major issue for him going into the NFL? The arm strength that people are continuing talking
I
about?
think, well, you know, I was a freshman when we played against Shadur, so I wasn't really playing on defense. I was actually kind of on special teams. But from what I saw, it was just his kind of reading of the defense, like before we even kind of got set up. I don't know if that came from film watching of the previous season or what, but it seemed like he knew what we were running and when we were going to run it before it happened. And because I think he went like 20 of 20 of his first 20 passes in that game. So like I think that that game alone was just a great game for him. But I think that it won't be detriment for him. I think that he has the ability and he has the big playability. I think that I think all the hate comes from him being the son of a legend. You see that a lot with different
It is.
people, right? With LeBron James's son, Bronny, you see that a lot. But I think that that's the only doubt. If he was anybody else's son, none of these talks would come up and they'd be like, oh, he's a top 5 pick.
I was telling somebody, I said if Shitter, I don't like making a race thing, but if he was white, he would have got the Drew Brees comp like immediately coming out.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And then also,
Just the way he
Deion
processes
Sanders,
and sees, it's just clinical.
right? And Deion Sanders, he's helping his sons kind of get to the league, but nobody said anything when the Mannings did it.
Yeah.
Eli,
Yeah.
definitely
they,
Eli.
they all got to the league, but everybody was quiet then. So I just think that was sort of a double standard. But hey, I
Same
just
thing with
pray that
Artis.
he goes there and has a great career.
Yeah. It's interesting how it almost kind of mirrors one another. Like not like the press and the hype. Well, I guess kind of the press and the hype, but like, it's like they had an older brother, the Mannings did. They had Cooper. He didn't pan out too well. Over there on the Sanders side, the older brother, Bucky, didn't pan out that well when he was at SMU. And then you have both Shiloh and Shador coming out at the same time. And then, like, I kind of liken that a little bit to Peyton and Eli. They're both coming out at the same time and stuff. So, this side had rings. I mean, this side, we'll see what happens. I'm high on Shador wherever he may land. Hopefully, he lands in a good situation. But with that being said, I would he do something like the Mannings did? If he goes somewhere that he
Deion
doesn't want to
made it
go,
clear where he wants him to go. That's all I got to say. Deion has not made it secret where he wanted to go.
So I'm glad you said that because now I can put this up. Would the Saints trade up from 9 to take Shador?
I would take him. The most I would do is go up to 7 to take him. I wouldn't go up any higher.
So who
I would just do it to get in front of Carolina. Carolina is the one team I think would just do it out of spite and trade down with somebody. I think the Jets wouldn't mind moving down 2 spots because I think they would still be comfortable taking either whoever's left between Melanfanu, I think his name is, or Membo from Missouri, or Tyler Warren. I think they'd be fine with either one. So for the Jets, I think they would be the best chance. If you have to move up, you would just move up to there because I don't think I think the Raiders taking G&T's a lock at 6. And then I think the Jaguars are taking Graham or one of the Georgia defensive players.
Fair. So now let me ask you this. Let me ask you both of y'all this before we move on. The shock of the draft will be, so we're 13 days out.
I think the shock of the draft should be, in my opinion, I think he's too far on the board for me, is Cam Scatterbo.
When you say shock, you mean steal at the draft or like a surprising move?
You saying me?
No, for both of y'all, actually. I'm kind of confused on what he means because I assume it's like how you said, like kind of like a steal of the draft, and then like there's also like a shock of like somebody getting traded draft night or something. So I'm kind of like, which way are we going here on this one?
Oh, well, I was saying he would be probably the steal of the draft.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah, I
and
agree
then,
with that.
So for Peeps, I was just kind of confused. Like, so we talking like steal or both? Because like my shock of the draft is I think Tyreek Hill getting traded. But then I think Mason Taylor to the Chiefs at 31 is going to be a lock, and that's going to just screw the NFL over for another couple of years.
Honestly,
I'm telling you, Mason Taylor 31. That makes too much sense to be the Kelsey replacement. You watch him, like his tape at LSU, he just finds those soft zones just like Kelsey did.
yeah, that would make sense. Honestly, I'm thinking to myself, the kid from Florida, the defensive tackle or the nose
Oh
guard.
yeah,
I feel like
Talking about Cam
Desmond Watson, I
Jackson,
believe.
Cam Jackson or Desmond Watson.
Desmond
Desmond
Watson.
Watson, I think.
Okay,
That would
yeah,
like,
that's a big body. You're not gonna
yeah,
run through that A gap.
yeah. Oof. I
If
I'm
feel
I'm a
sure
like
you
defensive
as a
coordinator, I
linebacker
put
would
him at
love to have
0.
that guy in front of you, though. Makes your job a whole lot easier.
because the thing is,
Yeah,
everybody's talking about like, oh, he can stop the tush push. He could stop the tush push, and I'm sitting here like, it's all fun and games until he's on the Eagles with Jordan Davis on the D line.
And just rotate him.
that would
I
be
could see,
scary.
oh my gosh, I could see Philly getting him at 32, just for
Just to
laughs.
screw everybody.
Yeah, just to say, ha, now what? Stop us now. Like,
I would
ugh.
put him at a 0 if I was the defensive coordinator. I'd put him as a 0 tech and
Mhm.
just give the center fits.
Oh yeah,
Because you like one-on-one blocking somebody that's big all game, you're gonna wear down eventually.
oh yeah. Especially in hot weather, in a hot environment, or even like, especially in Philly, around November, December, it gets super cold. It's like,
Right,
dude, and in that cold weather, it hurts when you're banging on somebody for 4 quarters. It's like,
right.
golly, like, I gotta keep hitting this. Like you just So hey,
I know what you were gonna say.
I was debating between two words, but I was like, let me not do it. We got a lot of people on here, and this is more of like a family show tonight. And
What's
yeah,
up, Troy White?
what's up? What's up, Troy? How are we doing this evening?
So
And
we
with
in hot
that,
topics.
we are. So
We starting with the Gators since we're already on what Watson. Let's just go to the other side of it.
yeah, we can go with the Gators. Yeah, shout out to the University of Florida. Capturing the school's third national championship. So now it's
That's
three
my
national
reaction.
titles in football, three national titles in baseball, or not basketball. Three national titles in football, three in basketball. No other school has that. They've basically claimed we're the everything school now, which I mean, hey, I got to give credit to where credit's due.
I will say that defense in the last minute against Houston probably was the best you're going to see in college basketball. Or you could say that Houston ran the worst offense you'll ever see in college basketball and shows why the NBA playoffs are better. You could take it either side of the coin.
Mm.
Either really good defense or terrible offense, and I don't know what Houston was thinking. That's all I gotta say.
Now somebody shared this image here. Actually, no, I know who did it. Ahmad Black shared this image actually on Twitter one night. Let me see, where is it? I can share my screen right here. Yeah, Ahmad Black, who was ex safety for the Gators back in the day. Funny enough, I got to see him play his last game at Florida in the Outback Bowl against Penn State. Little did I know it was Joe Paterno's last game too. But he posted this photo right here, and it was basically saying the year of the Gators and stuff, pointing out, basically how Florida won the basketball national title, and then shortly thereafter they captured a football title. So I'm gonna go ahead and dive into take it or leave it. Actually, oh,
as a growing up in Gainesville area, Alachua County, I'm gonna take it because I know how much this means to the university and those people that are Gator fans. My parents are huge Gator fans. When they're not rooting for the Rattlers, they're rooting for the Gators. And so I'm going to take it because also I see the potential that I saw, in DJ Lagway in just one season. And so I'm really excited to see them. We actually were supposed to play them this year, but they took us off. But I was really excited to play that game, so I was kind of bummed out when they took us out. But I'm going to take it. I see them having a very successful year. They have a very good wide receiver class coming in. I think they got like the top 5 wide receivers in the class of 2025, which I don't even know how that's possible. Like, how do you get all 5? But I'm really excited to see them play, and so I do think that it might indeed be the year of the Gator.
There's a possibility out there. I mean, for me, I'm leaving it. I'm not gonna say it's impossible. I mean, because let's be real, who saw Ohio State winning it all last year? Because I mean, they came out of nowhere as like they did in 2014. But for me, it's like it's a show me type situation because it's like yeah, Kirby and them they lost, but it's like Georgia still has. You're not gonna bet against them. I mean, at the time I was thinking Tennessee, but I mean the situation with Nico right now in the holdout, I'm not too sure about that. And then a trip to Tiger Stadium, I believe, is in the works. That's a tough place to play. You got to play Texas A&M. The Longhorns come to the Swamp too, so there's a lot there. So I mean, quite frankly, if they get through that regular season schedule, there's a possibility that they could do a lot of damage. So I'm
I
believing
will
for now.
say with the Gators, I don't know if I could see them being a championship contender, but I could see them making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I have to see them actually be on the field first and give me like a month of it before I can say they could be a championship contender.
yeah.
I don't know with geez, what's his name? Gosh, I had his name right on the top of my tongue. The head coach.
Oh, Billy Napier.
Yeah, Napier. I'm like, it starts with a Billy, but I couldn't remember the last name. Anyways, yeah, with him, I don't know. He's like in the same boat as Mike Norvell. But like Napier, like he was rough last year, right? Well, Norvell had a good year the year before, and then he was rough in 2022, I believe it was. 23, he was good, and then it was back to being rough in 24, right?
Oh yeah, for Norvell. Yeah.
In Napier's case, he was really bad for a while. Then he had a rough start, and then he picked it up toward the end of the year, right?
Yeah.
When he went to lightweight. I don't know if I could trust him enough to be the guy to say, okay, I could believe in him to take the Gators to a championship. That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, and I think that's part of where I'm at too. It's like they have the talent.
Yeah.
Like believing in the head man.
I think this is just coming from from being around that area. A lot of people didn't believe in Todd Golden, the head coach of the basketball team when they brought him in. Because he was at a smaller school, just like Billy Napier was at University of Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. So I think that with him bringing in some good guys and bringing in some players, I do think that I at least see them making the playoffs. I won't say championship winner this year, but I like y'all do, like I said, I do see them making it to maybe that Final Four slot because of the talent that they have. I also think that DJ Lagway had a tremendous season. That was his first time playing a college game, and he was just going crazy. At times he had freshman moments, where you get a little rattled in the bigger games, things like that. But that's because he was a freshman. I think now he's used to the time, he's used to the moment, and I think that he's going to be up for the challenge. I was really, really impressed with what I saw from him last season.
I don't know who he means by the thing. I assume he means the Gators.
I know who this is on Twitter. But he refers to the University of Florida as Bootskins. He's a Seminole fan. But
if they go with Lane Kiffin, they can be in the same boat. I don't think they win no championship with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. Speaking of Lane Kiffin, here's another take it or leave it. Jackson Dart will be the second QB off the board. You taking it or you leaving it? Ace, don't give me that face.
I gotta leave it. I gotta leave it because I
Ugh.
mean he has some great numbers this year. But
No, less than
I
11% of his snaps were under center.
yeah, it's just I gotta leave it because Shadur is just a great quarterback. I know the first one's gonna be Cam Ward and the second one's gonna be Shadur. He might be the third.
It has to be Shadur, man. If it's not Shadur, it's the second quarterback, bro. I know. And then like people are talking about this guy from Louisville, Tower Shuck, man. I'm like,
Oh
he's
yeah, where did
26.
that come
He
from?
hasn't won squat. Was inconsistent, and he has a whole list of injury history. Like every single player before this, it's like this is not even a 5th-round pick. Why are we talking about him potentially being the third or second quarterback coming off the board?
Yeah.
Like what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like,
All right, I got two more for you. Take it or leave it. Omari and Hampton out of UNC will be the
well, I
only
should
running
slap you
back
for this
drafted in the
question.
first round.
I should slap you for this question because Ashton Genty's going before him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I believe that Ashton Genty will go before him. He should.
Like, what?
Okay, you know what? That was a
What is
blonde
this
moment.
question?
Okay, you know what? Fine. I'm gonna fix this one for you.
You mean is
I'm gonna fix
Ashton
that.
Genty going to be the only running back taken in round 1? Is that the question?
I'm gonna fix
I think
it
he
for
mixed
you.
up Ashton Genty and Amari and Hampton. I feel that's what happened. I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, look, we have blonde moments here sometimes. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, a senior citizen moment.
Yes, because my gray hair. I'm close to 30, dude. But hey, these gray hairs are creeping in. We'll leave it at that. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Take it or leave it. There will only be one running back drafted in the first round.
I'm gonna still leave it.
I was gonna say I'm gonna leave it too. I like
I
Hampton
think
as well, but I also
yeah,
think Scatterbo is also gonna be in there too. I think it's a potential of 3 being drafted in the first round.
Wait, bring
yeah.
that back. You
I
said
think
Jinty to the Raiders. What?
yeah. That's what I got too. Pete Carroll gets his
Mm.
Marshawn Lynch. Now, will he give it to him at the goal line every time? I don't know.
You better. You better.
Who knows? Anyway, Amari and Hampton, I think he's gonna go between picks 23 through 30. I think you're gonna get 3 running backs taken in the first round.
You said between 20.
You're definitely gonna be at least 5 in the second. I think there'll be 5 running backs taken in the second.
But you said 23 through 30.
Yeah, picks 23 through to 30 is gonna be somewhere where it's gonna be for
Yeah,
Hampton,
Green
I
Bay,
think.
Minnesota, Houston, the Rams, Baltimore's not going running back. Detroit's not. Washington,
So why
maybe.
you don't think why you think Baltimore would and Henry's kind of good out there? Put him get fresh legs with Henry. Just saying.
They probably.
Now,
put
well,
some-
I will say they probably could use a running back later on, not first round, but still.
Yeah, now they might go running back later on, but I mean, so as long as Derrick Henry's there, I don't think they're going first round running back. Now, Washington came out with a statement recently about Brian Robinson saying they want like a do it all type running backs. I mean, Amari and Hampton, that could be a destination. Just a thought, but yeah. Also, one last question before we do get out of here tonight, because again, we promised this wouldn't be an hour, 30-minute podcast tonight, and this man has a football game to play tomorrow. Should the tush push be banned? There are 16 teams that, when all the coaches got together, they all there are teams out there saying this should be banned. It doesn't work. I know for a fact, like Todd Bowles said that he's all for it because he's got a run stuffing nose guard in Vita Vea that can help him stop it. But you had a team like the Green Bay Packers who stand out more than anybody, who said this needs to be banned. It's not helpful. Oh, Ace, is
This is
that
my answer right here. L for leave it.
Yeah, nah. I think that you should leave it because of simply the fact of it's just you got to figure out a way to stop it. Like I think that when the first couple offensive coordinators came out with the spread or came out with unbalance, it took defensive coordinators a little while to kind of figure out like, okay, how are we going to be able to stop this? Like, how are we going to scheme this up to be able to stop
And
this?
then Tampa 2 came out.
Right.
And deep threats got neutral. So they're gonna figure it out. Whether it's load the box or they figure out a different way to do gap control on it, they'll figure it out, I think.
I think that they should kind of play it as a almost because like they have a couple fakes off of it. So I think they should play it how you play a triple option team. You have your corner out there with his butt to the sideline, kind of outside leverage of just making sure nothing gets outside of him. But then also you just kind of load the box. like that literally you load the box with your corners outside leverage, making sure that nothing gets outside of them for any jet sweeps or any trickery that you have. But again, it's easier said than done. Stop that for sure. With Jalen Hurts squatting 700 pounds, so therefore that's a grown man running that ball. That's not a little boy.
Yeah, no, that's facts. So yeah, I mean, I'm all for. I'm in the audience too of you just leave it. You know what, like that's what football is. Line up on the line, may the best man win. There's no need to intervene and stuff. That's what they do is no different than basically what Tom Brady did for years, line up under center and stuff. I mean, granted, it was less girth when Tom Brady was doing it in New England and getting that extra yard, but I mean, they just amplified it because their offensive line is huge. Jalen Hurts, like you said, Naaron, squats 700 pounds. I mean, hell, God forbid, they get Desmond Watson and they just hand it off to him and run that. It won't be fair.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. But hey folks, we reached the end. Hour 7. Not bad. I mean, we'll try to do better, but hey, it is what it is.
Hey, we
Naaron,
did good. We did good.
We want to say thank you so much.
This was a good one. I think Naaron was the first guest we've had, like a true guest, in a while.
Yes, he was. Yeah. Naaron, thank you so much
This
for
was good.
coming on tonight and joining us. Any closing thoughts for the folks as far as the spring game tomorrow?
I just want to say thank y'all for having me. First off, it was really great chatting with you guys. And Rattler Nation, let's show up tomorrow. We hope to give you guys a great show and a great preview of what the 2025 season looks like. And so we just thank y'all in advance for showing up and showing out tomorrow. Go Rattlers!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also for the folks that aren't following you yet, that will, where can they find you on Twitter and on Instagram?
Twitter, Nay NAY _Ron on Twitter, and then Instagram is official _NPJ. And so those are where you can find me on my social. But yeah, those are my underscore for that Instagram one, official _NPJ. But yep.
Okay, so my bad.
Nah, you good.
Official underscore.
Yes, sir.
There we go. All right, that's better. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So yeah, man. So thank y'all so much for joining us, all 83 of you, and I know it probably climbed to 85, but yeah, thank you so much for all y'all joining us this evening. We hope you've enjoyed this as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Of course, Naaron, again, thank you for joining us, and especially the night before a game. I don't think we've ever done that before, where we've talked to somebody the night before a game and had them on. So this is a first.
Yep.
So yeah, Naaron, definitely, we won't keep you any longer. You go get your rest. Go do what you got to do. Get prepped for tomorrow and everything, and give these folks a show, man. And again, we wish you all the best this coming season too. And you're always welcome to come back by on the show as a guest, man.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And with that, folks, let's go ahead
Be a
and run
friend, tell a
these.
friend, like, share, subscribe. Stay safe, stay blessed. And whoever's going out to the game, make sure y'all be good. He's gone. He could go have his game. We mistimed it. Anyways, run the outro. Let's get out. I was just saying, stay safe when you go to tailgate.
Yeah. Good night, folks.